Welcome back, Pirate Crew. It's your captain, Yeehaw Yadam, and it's nice to be back for another wonderful week of One Piece. So we're going to go back to our standard content of news, deck profiles, and analysis of the game now that we've finished the Road to Treasure Cup series. I'd like to say thank you guys so much for your support throughout the Treasure Cup series. It is the first of the series that I do, and I've learned a lot on what I want to do for these series going forward. So thank you guys so much for those who watched it, for those of you that enjoyed, those of you that had different opinions. I love the different opinions. I think that my general idea for the cup was to bring the more wacky concepts into the format, right? Give you guys different ideas, because the cookie cutter lists, they've been out for months. We all know that you can play this list of Zoro that has 47 identical cards, and then, oh, I switched up 3, that's the spice. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to give you guys a different take, a different idea, different options, and things, make you guys think about what you want to do with your deck. And sometimes that succeeded, and it feels like sometimes that didn't. So with that being said, learned a lot, and moving forward, we will try to do something quite down the middle that'll show you guys just how I want to proceed about that in the future. So let's get to it. Today is February 5th at the time of recording of this video, and if you guys, because of the Road to Treasure Cup series, I wasn't able to give you guys this information, but the online regionals for Carta Magica, PPG, Top Cut, and Top Cut that were going to be done in March, all the registrations went up today. Unfortunately, I wasn't even home at the time they went up, so I did not make it into a single one. They sold out within 5 minutes, so love to see that. That means that the game is thriving. People are playing the game. People are going into these regionals immediately, selling out within 5 minutes, a 500-person event online. That is nothing to be scoffed at, and I do think that the game is doing fantastic. It is a beautiful game that is just doing so well. So unfortunately, guys, I just want to talk to you guys. If you got to the online regionals, leave a comment down below and just be like, I'll be there, loser, or something. I don't know. But congratulations to all those that you made it, and good luck to you. So hopefully that'll be the next focus of the channel, preparing for these online regionals. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the Treasure Cup. So this week we finally had our first set of Treasure Cups. We had one in Sydney, we had one in the UK, 2 in North America. Amazing. And surprise, surprise, Eustace Captain Kidd, at the point in time I'm making this video, has not won a single one. If it wins the Carta Magica one, well, you heard it here first, I guess. But that tournament is still going on. Top Cut is still going on for that tournament at this time. But amazing. An absolute crazy showing. And there was a lot of things that were expected, that we saw in the tournament. We expected this to happen. And a couple things that took me by surprise. So let's get right to that. I do have here, thanks to the Eggman, as well as Core TCG and Stage 0 or Android, for providing us this infographic of top 16. Now, this isn't representative of the decks that were played in the format, but I can tell you with certainty that Eustace Captain Kidd was the most represented. I think it had 140 players playing Eustace Captain Kidd. I think they had 492 overall players in the event, and here's the top 16. Now, this isn't to show you exactly what got into top 4 or what won, but my goodness, Monkey D. Luffy taking up an exact 33% of the Top Cut at 6 Monkey D. Luffy decks, making it into the top 16. That blew my mind. I do think that the mid-range Monkey D. Luffy deck is very strong, but I was under the impression that Zoro can just hit the numbers a little bit easier, has a better mid-game, overall a little bit more consistent. Like, there were just some things that I think Zoro does better than Luffy. I think they're both excellent leaders. I think Red in general has very good and powerful cards, and the decks are very similar, but at the end of the day, it seems like Luffy was the deck of choice. There was less Luffys than Zoros and more Luffys than Top, so there is some overlap of like percentages there that we need to look into. We have Doflamingo, almost at equivalent enoughs as Eustace Captain Kidd, a good amount of Law, Kaido, and then Zoro. So definitely was expecting more Kaido and less Flamingo and less Luffy and more Zoro, but excellent. So I want to go ahead and show you guys this deck profile is provided by Orange Samurai. Go check him out. This guy is always uploading deck profiles. Super cool content creator as well. Had the pleasure of meeting him in the past. So he has gone ahead and provided the list that got first place at Long Beach. And I was not expecting this. I was watching the tournament live. I ended up falling asleep. It was really late and I couldn't see the finals. But I'm very excited to say that mid-range Red was able to win the game. And Congratulations, Brian Wynn, and not to take anything away from you, but this is a little bit similar to what we were trying to do with our Monkey D. Luffy list a couple months ago. There was a lot of the similar concepts. He's playing 13 2Ks. He's playing 3 spells, 4 pistols. The main difference, and something that's happened as of recently, right, between me making that video and the Treasure Cups, Ben Beckman. Ben Beckman has been the replacement for Monkey D. Luffy 6 cost. And that's a little bit interesting. Mostly, Ben Beckham is there as another out to the A-drop kid. He is a 9K body with 1K counter 7-drop. So his stat line is very, very solid. He is a film card. He's not a straw hat, not searchable. So he has that minus that Luffy doesn't have, but Luffy has a smaller base. It has the rush tag, you know, rushing for 9. But if you want to play the Luffy, you have to play more Namis, and it doesn't have counter. So it definitely is just, like I said, personal preference. The 3 Shanks do like it. We've gone heavier on the Shanks amount. I think I was playing 2 at the time. I wasn't manly enough to triple Shank someone, but this gentleman indeed was. 4 of the 5 costs. This card is unbelievably unbalanced. Zoro, really good stat lines. Nico, Robin, and I do like the 2Ks that he used. Sanji for draw, because sometimes they, you know, you don't get the early. They'll be dealing with your board as opposed to dealing with you. So Sanji lets you get that draw on yourself. As well as he's very sneaky damage, right? He's a 2 cost that can hit for 7, which is the perfect number in this game. Like, Sanji is unbelievably unbalanced. He's a 2K straw hat, so he's searchable, and he hits for 7. He also comes down on the curve. He's a 2, so if they make you go second, you can like Sanji, and then on your next turn, go like Chopper, Robin. Like, it fits the curve very, very well. And he does amazing for what he does. Obviously, 4 Nami searchers. He is playing 1 of the Nami from the structure deck and 1 of the Brook from the structure deck. I believe that he just wanted, you know, he had a couple of empty slots and he just filled it with cards that were just genuinely good. This Nami, it's really weird to denote how many of these you play, right? Because to play this Nami, you kind of want to fit in 2 years, but if you're playing in 2 years, you don't want to play this many spells, and it's just, it becomes a little bit of a deck building conundrum, right? Because Nami will bottom deck this Nami, so you don't want to go high on this Nami, but then like you do because you don't want to bottom deck it, so you want to draw it, but it's just weird. So I do like his choices. I think that Sanji is one of the better 2Ks. Otama is probably the best 2K, and Gordon was used to cycle his top end, right? He has a very thick top end. If you see here, he has 20 cards that you can cycle pretty easily that don't really do too much. So Gordon was used just for that, and as well, the 3K body can sometimes swing. You know, if Nami can swing, Gordon can swing. So he's just not as easy to swing as this Sanji. But definitely congratulations to Brian Wynn. A really, really solid list. You know, playing the 1 of Diablo, the 1 of Round Table, and then a 1 of here. But the rest of the list is solid, man. There's 4 slots that I would give as the Brian Wynn special, the 1-1-1-1. But congratulations, man. Awesome achievement, and I'm glad to see my boy Monkey D. Luffy in the top. Red Gang. And then off to Carta Magica. Carta Magica's top 16 looks a little bit different. Maybe it's an East to West Coast thing. But Zoro being more represented than Luffy, having the exact opposite effect of what happens in Long Beach. And more of the kid. We've completely lost Flamingo, and we have a Burple Kaido. I am glad to see a Burple up here, because I think Burple is a strong color combination, whether it be Crocodile or Kaido. I definitely expect that after the film sets are allowed in competitive play, that we might see more of the Burples show up, because those cards are so very, very powerful. Shiki, Bullet, as well as a couple other of the film cards are just unbelievably unbalanced. I would like to say Shiki one more time before we know. I will talk about him in ad nauseum later, but that card is very nice. So very cool to see these deck lists in the top 16. This event is still going, so we don't know what's going to finish off right now. I know that the Burple Kaido game just finished. He just played against a Kaido, so he will be making it to the top 4. Congratulations to him. That's super duper cool. But maybe at the end we'll see, you know, a Law, a Burple, one of the Eustace, and one Zoro. I think that's what top 4 is at this point in time, but, you know, I'm still watching the tournament live while I'm making this at the same time. So definitely it's going to be very, very cool. And then I would like to show the list that won in Sydney, Australia. Again, provided by our boy Orange Samurai. So we have a very, what I would call cookie cutter list of Law. There's not really anything that he is, I mean, before I get there, congratulations to Benjamin Teo, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, my guy. I'm so sorry. Congratulations on your win. This, not an easy achievement by any means, but what I'm trying to get at is the list isn't anything too special. This is not something that this is not a new deck, a new creation. there's just a couple nuances that he is doing that is very different than we're kind of doing here, or that I was doing with my law list, aka number one, the Veggies, right? So Veggie being used over the Killer, I can see it. One cost cheaper, it is still the same. Killer does have the 1k combo where Veggie doesn't, but he's favoring the 1 cost over the 1k counter, which completely understandable. We are not playing any Momos. I do enjoy my Momo engine because Momo gets me the Nekomamushi / Izos that theoretically win me the matchups in the mirror versus green. He's not playing the Yamato to support that engine, so it obviously makes sense, as well as losing the Rizos. So again, it makes sense. But he's also playing Nico Robin where I'm not, and Killer as well. This is a more low to the ground law deck, right? With just a slight bit of top end and using Radical Beam as opposed to the Hawk. Which I think, again, very doable. The reason I use Hawk more than anything is because it is Straw Hat Supernova, whereas Radical Beam is just Straw Hat. So I believe like this list is very, very good. It's just, you got to run a little bit clean with it. There are some searches that could whiff, but very low to the ground list, very, very clean. It's very effective at what it wants to do. It has just the right amount of 2Ks, and obviously one of the strongest cards in your deck, you have Nekomamushi. He's playing the Killer as opposed to the 4th Izo. He's using Brook because Brook is free. And then maxing out on the searchers as well as the chopper blocker, which is much more reasonable than the Bonnie blocker. So everything in this list just makes a ton of sense. Can't really knock on it too hard, but congratulations, Benjamin, super solid list. And he's not the only Law player. Law also won in the UK. I wasn't able to find the list as of right now, but I don't think it's going to be very different than this list. You know, as opposed to a couple cards. Law, there's like 40 cards that are locked into Law, right? We're going to be playing 4 Law. We're going to have to be playing some amount of Pistol with Otama being maxed out, as well as Chopper, Nami, Bonnie, Nekomamushi, as well as Izo. You don't have to play Brook. You can play Monkey D. Luffy from the tournament pack. Do you play Nico Robin? Do you play 4 Zoros? That's where the variance comes in, the ratios in this little mid section. But other than that, the lists are pretty much concrete at this point. It's just player skill that really denotes how strong and how far your Law deck can go. But congratulations to him once again. And that's not it. Next week, again, I'm really sorry for the super bright, but this is just unfortunately what the page is. But I will see you guys on next week's Treasure Cup. This is going to be hosted by PPG here in Miami. So hopefully anyone that's attending that, I will hope to see you there. But let's see what happened to, and lastly for this video, let's see what happened to the card market. So the card market took a little bit of a turn. Let's go back to page 1. There's a couple of shady things happening here with the boost. I'm just going to start off by that, the booster boxes, right? Because I do see, I follow the subreddit. I'm on the subreddit for OP, and I recommend people checking it because you get a lot of information. I'd like to say, if you haven't been able to get any product, check your local Targets, check your local Walmarts, check your local Barnes and Nobles. I was able to find 6 packs in the wild. I mean, it's not anything crazy, but I'll take what I can get, right? It was kind of cool to find packs at my local Barnes and Noble. That was kind of nice. But other than that, you know, I haven't really been lucky. And I know that people have been doing some really shady things by what I've been reading on the subreddit. So I want to, you know, talk to you guys about it. So obviously we haven't seen anything sold under 2K within the past month. For whatever reason, there were sellers going on TCG Player and posting their cases at 1.2K. And they had 0, you know, it's their first sell. They have 0% ratings. Like, if you ever see something like that, it's kind of alarming, right? Not alarming. You see this $1,200 case and you're like, oh my God, finally wave 2. Probably not, man. Don't jump to conclusions. Take your time. Most of these people are, you know, trying to scam some sort of money. I don't really know how you scam this money because I think TCG Player just refunds everyone and you get canceled. You also have to like open a W-2 to sell with I don't know why they do it, but it's a thing. Again, uncertain, but I have seen a couple of cases on the TCG Player website for below 1.5K, and that's just a little eye-opening. If you see something like that, be cautious. Be very, very cautious. But ignoring that little debacle, let's talk about the cards. Zoro came down from 220, 230, 240 to now $200. It says 199 here, but like immediately after these 199s, it goes back to the 200s, but it's sitting steadily at $200. Pretty steady. But what's very surprising, like this was quite a bit of a pullback, but this is quite the pullback, right? From $250 now down to 200. Let's just look at the resistance here. We have 5 for 200, then it jumps to 210. By the time we get back to 250, we're almost at like 15, 20 Namis. So it's definitely significant sink. Now, I don't really know what the perpetrator of that may be. I believe now that the treasure cups have started to unravel, right? The players that really wanted this wanted it for the treasure cup. The treasure cups are finishing now, so maybe cards are starting to like equal out. The pullback is happening from the market, and we're trying to see, you know, these Zoros were $200 maybe 2 weeks ago, and we're now sitting pretty at about 125. Yeah, these were all the way up here. We're trying to see like a quick sink that happened right over this weekend. And again, there might be more product that's coming out. More people are getting their hands on Zoros. People are selling their Zoros after the treasure cup. They just wanted to play them, and now they're selling them. I don't really know why exactly these cards are coming back, but I'm glad for the community. For those of you that don't have them, cards are starting to finally come back a little bit, and that's really, really nice, right? Now we have Law staying around his zone, Flamingo on his zone. Yamato had the pullback, went all the way up to 120, and then right back to 90. Luffy up and down. Boa Hancock went to $100, bro. Don't tell me that I negged so hard on these, but it's okay. It happens. But everything is about where it started at about 2 weeks ago. It's like if we reset 2 weeks. I think the treasure cups was a little bit of a catalyst that pushed everything a little bit higher. Now we have a little bit more product coming out. We have a little bit more breathing room. Treasure cups are over. We don't really need the altards. We have the new structure decks coming out, which again, if you were lucky enough to find one, again, check your Targets, your Walmart, local game stores. They might be sold out, but you never lose anything by trying, right? But we're finally starting to get a little bit better prices. And I'm not going to go into card by card. I just want to show like a quick overview, because there's not one single card that I'm like, whoa, buy this, because, you know, everything's kind of been pulled back. You have the Laws at $15, which is right about where I said he should be. Boa Hancock sitting at 8. So these still continue to drop. Everything else continues to drop. So, I mean, you even have your Dawn. Your Dawns are at like $6. So definitely, if you guys want to go get yourself some Romance Dawn, singles are not in a bad spot right now. Obviously, you don't have to play for the alt arts. Actually, there's one last card that I want to go ahead and view, and it's the Zoro Rush. He's still sitting at $27, but let's say you wanted to play the Law deck. Many of them don't play 4 of this. If you can find someone that'll sell them at 25s, these Laws are 15s. You can try to argue someone for 12s. The rest of the deck is basically nothing, right? If we look at here, we have a tier 1 deck. These are 5s. You know, this Luffy might get you a little, but it really is just a structure deck conundrum, man. The structure decks are really what's going to bottleneck a lot of players. But if you were able to get your structure decks, the rest of the cards are a little bit easier to acquire now. They're a little bit cheaper, so I recommend that you guys go ahead and do that. As the game gets more accessible, we have more new players, more bigger events, Bandai starts bringing out more product. I think this game has a very wonderful and bright future. And as always, guys, if you have been here, seen this video, you liked it, you stayed to the end, God bless you. If you like the video, you like the content we're making here, don't forget to leave a like down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about in general, how's your day going? Leave a comment down below. As always, if you have not joined the crew and are liking the content that I bring out on this channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button. It really means a lot. As always, I will see y'all on the next one. Peace. I cannot find this record button. Hello.